Hello, how are you, Miss D?
Hey, I'm good, Miss Love. How are you?
I am doing well. I am doing well. I am so glad that we're here today. Uh, of course, this is Noir Aunties, and we be talking. We be talking. We be coming up with solutions to things, um, and really looking at different perspectives of a thing. And today, I really needed us to focus on something that is so amazing, and the woman who who's so creative and brilliant. She just brought this home to us, and I don't even know how to express what it feels like to be in relationship with our own author, Miss
Oh,
D. Um, um, so if her name, and everything like we normally do, family is in the description, right? And Miss D is going to. She has another link. Hey, McKenna, what's up, love, single mom? Um, Miss D will put in the chat the Amazon the new link
okay.
to
Let me go
the
ahead.
book. Okay. So I get to introduce her. Oh, y'all thought that was the introduction? No. Okay. Of course, it's not the introduction. I'm so windy. All right. So this it is my pleasure to introduce again, for those of you who don't know, Auntie D, Miss D, Deann Mathews. Uh, you know what? This is what I love about Miss D, because she does all these incredible things, and she's like, oh yeah, I just happened to such and so. Um, just like wow. She's a five-time author, right? And what we're going to be discussing today and listening to Miss D tell us about is her new book, Seizing the Crypto. Keep talking.
Bull Run.
The crypto bull run for financial freedom. Um, and oh my gosh, you guys, it's available right this moment, right? And until Friday at midnight, 11:59 on Amazon, it's going to switch over to the low price with the
Introductory.
introductory price with the incredible returns of $4.99. So I'm gonna need all y'all cousins, your sisters, your mas, Medias, your grandmama, your mama, your half cousin on the left side. I need everybody to purchase this book for someone you know and love. Okay.
Paperback en route by Christmas time, hopefully. For those of the Muzz and the Medeas and the and the Papas, and because there are a few out there like, where the paperback. I'm like, I'm working on it. It's coming. So by Christmas I'll have a paperback also ready for y'all. That's the plan right now.
The
I'll talk to my
paperback will be
fabulous.
out in December.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to talk to my fabulous cover designer, True Mystique. We may have it available for you so that Black Friday, which is the 24th, and then Cyber Monday. So then you can get the paperback if you want
Oh,
the paperback. We're going to try to get it in November, actually. But I got to talk to her about that because I already have a front cover. We just need to get it to Amazon specs, which is
a different.
Amazon is one of those. How should we? What's the term that you use? Slightly legionnaire. So it sometimes can be slightly. It sometimes can have them
Oh,
tendencies. So we'll see what we
yeah.
can do with that. But that's kind of the plan. Hopefully, to be able to have that ready this month so that you have all the time in the world to get the free copy. Think to yourself, oh, snap, if we understand this, let me get 10 of these because we don't need $1 billion right now to be able to make differences. So for me to give you maximum time to enjoy it and then realize this can be the most powerful gift that you give in terms of learning a new market, I'm trying to get it for you in November. We'll see what happens.
Well, when it comes out in November, December, and paperback, I really encourage us to buy this book. Okay. And we're going to get into more of the how and the why and the what for. And I just encourage you for your loved ones. I'm actually working with my daughter, and we've already started the process because of Miss D. So, um Miss D, as we know, is a highly accomplished woman and a paragon in her community. She is, let's see, we know she's offers four other books. Let me get it out. One of which is the Freedom Guide for Music Creators, because Miss D is so multi-talented. She is a musician, she is an instructor, she she writes music, she is um so deeply involved in her community that she works with the board. She's a secretary for the board for elders and homeless. Like, Miss D really believes in humanity. And when she puts something forth, girl, all I can say is you need to listen and go take action. That's all I can say. So I don't want nobody coming up here talking about, why didn't y'all tell us? Why didn't you do? Why y'all?
Don't do that.
Because
Don't
Miss
do
D
that.
has put it in she's put this in a format, um and and when I'm telling all of you about how incredible Miss D is, she and I both understand that so are you.
Yes,
Okay.
you can do this.
And Miss D, she wrote, she also created the course, The Ultimate Guide to Copyright Songs. And all of these things that Miss D does, it all comes together into such a fullness. And I really want us to also celebrate her. Okay. So she's a powerful partner in the community, like I said. She is the creative director, the Miss D, who is the creative director um, of Praising Pilgrims Music. It's a small publishing company in San Francisco. And she also works, like I told you, to work with the elders in her community. She's constantly thinking of other people. No, and I think that's um something that many of us as Black women, we roll like that. Hi, Bill. We roll like that. Miss D is definitely that woman. And as she'll bring up often, we don't like, so we have different modes of spirituality and religion. And I can always get with someone who actually lives the followings of Jesus Christ. Like, they live their life that way, because I don't so much listen to what people are saying as much as I listen to your behaviors. And I found that Miss D she's such a bright, and beautiful light. And she's just giving you a piece of herself in this book, you know, because she does really want to see us succeed, because she understands when black women succeed and black girls succeed, we tend to bring other people with us. Hmm? We don't tend to leave people out. So we tend to bring humanity with us. And at the same time, Miss D is very much a such an incredible woman that she understands what we go through. And I really feel like that's another reason why this book is so important, because I know Miss D and I know she wants for us to be free, and that includes financial freedom. And that's what this book helps us to be able to do. Okay, I introduced. Let
That has got to be the most
me tell you, I
loving, extended introduction I probably ever had. I probably will never have one to exceed it. Thank you.
oh my
Y'all want me
gosh,
to be up here bawling, but that's
I'm
okay.
I'm just so glad. Like I need people to understand what you've done here. You know, and this is such an opportunity for us to give ourselves more options,
Yes.
right? So, I got some questions, Miss D. I got some
Okay.
questions. Um, because I really want people to hear um your your thoughts and the whys and the hows and the what. So my first question is, who are you and why this book?
Okay. Who am I? In the context of this book, I am someone who, well, actually, I got to give you who are you. First thing first, so you can understand how I ended up in the crypto market. I am the position is strictly king priest, because of course the Bible tends to be gendered male. Queen priestess of the Most High God in Christ, if you gender that in English. So, and someone who, as Constance Love has said, does my best to remember that I'm a representative and ambassador at all times. So, as I'm moving through the world and figuring out what to invest in, this is very important to me because many things in the legacy financial system were built on the slavery of our people. So when you do investments and you're aware of the history and you don't want to perpetuate certain things, that comes to mind. So who am I in the context of this book? I'm a crypto investor who's 4 years ahead of anybody else in a 15-year-old market. And it's important to say that I'm not a financial advisor. What you will never find in this book or the newsletter attached to it is financial advice. Not qualified to give you that. But what I do have is 4 years of having been through the markets and having bumped my head and figured out how it worked by bumping my head.
Mhm.
I asked the Lord for a way into the crypto market that I could understand, and it ended up being on a small writing platform that compensated in crypto, but that crypto was exchangeable for Bitcoin. And that's how I started out. It did not cost me anything to get my first Bitcoin. I exchanged the proceeds from my writing on that blockchain, which today the best legatee of that is mentioned in the book, the Hive blockchain. So, and that's in chapter 9, 8, and 10. For those of you, or is that 8 in the epilogue? For those of you who want to, it's in the table of contents. You'll see it. But that was how I worked my way in. And because I had that means of using my creativity and earning crypto, I stayed around. And as I
Mhm.
stayed around, I got my first Bitcoin. Because I got my first Bitcoin, then I got my first Ethereum. Because I got both of those, I stayed in the markets and realized, okay, great. It's not connected. to the legacy financial system. It's actually kind of a protest and an alternative to it. It's also the wild, wild west of finances. Yeah. You sitting there minding your own business. Bitcoin dropped $10,000 in a single day. Woo! And you've never
So
seen anything like this. So,
so you um you said something like near the beginning of the book. You said this book is a guide to show you the work you must do, but
yes,
understand that hand holding is not possible in crypto. So this book is a guide. So I want everybody to hear what Miss D is saying. All right. And so she goes on to say, you go on to say, seizing the crypto bull run is something you'll have to learn by doing. And I will let you know where to find the tools you need. And if you read to the end, you'll find an extended resource to assist you. So what you were explaining to us um how you got into it and 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 what it's one of the ways that you've used it as you know quote unquote money, right? But you're also you also have a why for this book. You have a reason for the way you wrote it. You have a reason for the way that you are rolling it out and who you're centering in this first rollout.
yes.
So can you speak to that? Who like who you're centering in this first rollout and the why?
The book is, of course, general for the general retail market who tends to be late. However, I am a Black woman. And I know from having studied the last financial crisis that generally we are brought in the last of all. I'm trying to break that cycle. This is the why of why it's being promoted here first. It's not like everybody else will not find it in due time and marketing will reach them. But sometimes it's got to be made true because Christ said it. The first shall be last and the last shall be first.
Mhm.
Everybody else is going to, you generally get marketed something before Black women. So we're just going to go ahead and walk out our relationship with Christ and put Black women up first because the last at some point gotta be first. The other half of the why question for this book is where the market cycle is right now. Crypto has a 4-year cycle and it's at the end of the down period. So generally in the every 4 years in even numbers, 2020, 2024, 2028 down the road, 2022, if the cycle holds just like 2008, 2012, 2016, 2020, it starts to go up again. But on the back half, that odd number year is tends where it tops out, and then that next even number year, 2018, 2022, probably 2026, it starts to go down again. And then you have the most brutal bear market imaginable, way more brutal than anything you've ever seen in stocks. Most stocks are not going to even come back if they lose 70% of their value. Crypto just does that just to be around in that time period. And some of them go down for 95 or greater. And of course, some of them don't come back, but that's just standard. So if you come in here at the wrong time, it's like, we're not doing this interview in 2026 because at that point, no, 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 you need to be exited. So the why, and then about the guide, the work you have to do. Crypto is not, it's not possible to handhold in investing anyway because that's a very individual decision. It's not like I can walk you through learning a job and be there and kind of hover over you. Investing is very personal and individual. So I can show you where to go find what you need, but you have to, based on who you are and what you want. Speaking of investments, that's from Confidence with Love's Becoming the Confident Black, Becoming the Self-Confident Woman. That's the first question. You have to become who you are and what you want to determine what you want to invest in. So I can only give you a guide, and this is the most appropriate time to do it because things will probably not get really on and popping until the spring, through sometime between the spring and the autumn of next year.
Right. So, okay, I'm a novice.
Okay.
Um, and I do understand that there are things that we tend to tell ourselves as Black women. Like we'll be listening to to you, a Miss D, who's such a scholar, who really does care about her community, um, her society, humanity, um, and then and then we won't follow through with this. And the point you're making, that we usually are on the tail end of things, when all the money has been made, right? And a lot of times we're on the tail end of things, um to do whatever cleanup, whether
Yeah.
it's somebody's feelings or whatever, but we're almost never on the top end of being able to have a financial freedom. That means you don't have to go to banks and ask for anything. You don't have to do it. Won't matter that Chase or whoever is offering, things for women. That's cute and nice and everything. Appreciate that. But you will be able to fund your own endeavors, right? I mean, just think about this, everyone. W- What what would happen if you did not have to worry about finance? Good, good, good gravy juice. Because that's something that um I think it passes through our mind, but we don't like sit with it and then take it to the next level. And Miss D is offering us ability to take it to the next level. Um, so for us novices, I'm gonna just take a step back for a second. For us novices, what is what is crypto and Bitcoin? Not the other, like not the hash and those things,
Okay.
but think words we're used to hearing, but we have no idea what crypto or even Bitcoin or Ethereum.
Okay.
Like I didn't know what that was. We're gonna talk about your glossary after this too. But yeah. What is crypto? What is Bitcoin?
Okay. So in a very basic way of putting it, okay. Okay. If anybody here has a credit card, you already know about electronic money, which is of the electronic transfer of value. You already know about that, right? So think about this going one step further. Your credit card is attached to a legacy financial institution or some kind of bank or credit card agency. So imagine that someone came along and said, why can't we use this and base it on a kind of technology that can be openly looked at and validated and read by the public to make sure it is what it says it is, and have technology available for the people to review, and that you uh, are entitled to have this money by doing the work, the computer science work to have it. And then you're allowed to trade it with other people that don't want to do that work, like a stock or a bond. Basically, that's crypto. You already know about something about stocks and bonds that are tradable assets. You already know about electronic money. You already know about the internet, and you know a little bit about the World Wide Web. So imagine a different kind of technology called blockchain technology. And what happens is the transactions and the activity just happens to come out one block after another. So it's a block of activity. linked to another one, to another one, to another one, blockchain. So Bitcoin is the first of these. And it is, we've heard about bits and bytes in computer world. Well, this is the first money designed to have its identity as electronic, available for public validation, and anyone with a sufficiently powerful computer can mine it. Now, that's a lot harder today than it was when it started in 2008. You're going to need a little bit more than your home computer now. But it was the first designed electronic money, and the feature about it that differs from the money you have in your pocket is it cannot inflate. There is only one, there is a hard fixed amount of how much Bitcoin there will ever be, and that's 21 million. However, they are divisible 100 million times. So there'll always be a Bitcoin cent, called a Satoshi, out there for somebody to buy.
So
So that is hard money.
crypto is a kind of a it's kind of the umbrella that the different types of Bitcoin
Ethereum,
has.
all those, and about what, several thousand more available. Um,
Yeah.
they
And
all fit
something
in there.
something I learned from your book, what, because I couldn't make, there's some dots I couldn't connect. Like you were just connecting the dots for us. And yeah, there were some dots I I'm talking about before I read your book. There were just some dots I couldn't connect. you know. Um and a part of it had to do, I think, with not knowing the language. But a part of it is this thing that sits in the back of our minds as black women, because we're taught not to trust something new. Now I'm gonna say this to my cousins, okay? And you know who you are. You are still using checks, girl. Let go. We don't move all the way to not even have to carry money around most of the time. Y'all still writing checks? You may as well be sending smoke signals. Oh, okay, I'm back. I'm back. But
Need to move
but
on up a little
crypto,
higher.
see, crypto, it is a part of those next steps in technology as well. So now I'm telling you guys, I I'm talking to you like I know some. I only read Miss D's book. Everything you hear me saying, like I know, like I knew all this before. I didn't know Jack. Okay, right? I of course had heard of cryptocurrency. Of course, I had actually read. I read how it got started, but okay, I was like, anyway, I don't know what you're saying, but for your being able to connect the dots for me was really important. And um as you're going through Miss D's book, she actually gives you, she not only has a glossary, but she gives you um clear, concise, make sense, and you can see it, you can see what it is, right? um Including, she gives you some of the history, and I encourage you not to skip that. Okay, me, I gotta read from where it says publishing all the way to blank page, but it's important the way she set up this book. It's important um in helping us feel comfortable with looking for cryptocurrency, figuring some other things out, being able to come to Miss D's book and have it re-explained to you, right? Because um she's giving you the opportunity and the option to learn about this. Because I can tell you, the way the dollar is going, girl,
Yeah, you might want to have a plan.
Yeah. And and I don't want us sitting on the back end, those of us who are hearing this, and I hope that all of you share this Noir Auntie, um and you share Miss D's book, but we need this. We really need this. Okay? So, before I ask my next question, Miss D, let me tell y'all something. Let's stop right here. Let's talk about a glossary.
Okay, because this
No,
is good.
yeah, because if you want me to fall in love with whatever it is, girl, have a glossary. I feel like you're talking to me. I love a glossary. I love new words. And um frankly, I found that crypto language just tends to roll off the tongue. Other people be talking about, oh, no, Latin is the most romantic. That's a lie. Have you read cryptos? Girl, I was getting all kinds of because I was like, oh, don't make me start using some crypto language on y'all. Really? Listen. Um, so do you have cryptocurrency keys? I bet you don't, because you don't even have a blockchain.
Oh
Do
boy.
y'all see that? Like, girl, what? No. Dapps. Okay, so when I'm talking, when I start talking to all of us in crypto, don't come back to me talking about, girl, you know you done made it up. I got this from Miss D, who knows her stuff. You can't even say that it was me and my storytelling. Okay, Miss D knows her stuff, and put a glossary in here, girl. What do you really know about flat money? Because I don't think you do. You see that? Another word. So
Oh
you
my
really
gosh.
should go through. I love words.
I know.
I know I'm being silly, but girl, I love words. But before I just got three more words to tell y'all. I just got three more words that this has got to be a part of my everyday language, right? And it's not just that. On the serious note, really learning the definitions so I know how to move when I get into, as we're doing our cryptocurrency journey over here. So, okay, you ready? Wait. These are the words of the day. Girl, I'm gonna need a proof of brain. Proof of brain. That's cryptocurrency lingo. You want to know the actual definition? I think you need to go buy the book. But oh wait. And I need to know proof of work. So if there's proof of brain, proof of work, and this
Proof
is
of
the
stake.
this is
Yeah.
the yeah. I girl, proof of stake. Cause what you doing with my Bitcoin? You know, we need to talk. So, again, all jokes aside, but besides that, I love a good glossary. Um, it really clarifies so much, right? To be able to go back and forth with the glossary, and really, you don't need to because you explain it as you go. So, I just thought I would bring that up. But on to my third question, Miss
Oh, but
D.
I do need to say about the glossary because True Mystique is in the house. That was her
Oh,
vision. She was kind enough. She
that's
was
right.
also created that ed. She created that great cover, but she also used the appropriate artificial intelligence tools to help me come down from. Sometimes I get professorial, and sometimes it's already you got new jargon, so you don't need that on top. But she also said it would really help the people if you put a glossary in there. So I need to give credit what credit's due. Information in the glossary, yeah, I put it there. She also highlighted the phrases that we might need to have so I wouldn't have to run back there and find, because I've been in it for years. It no longer hits me. But I need to acknowledge True Mystique as the person who said she had the vision for the glossary. So I went on and added it, and I didn't know it was going to generate this much joy. But I'm glad it's there. I do attempt to explain as I go, but at the same time, credit where credit's due. Thank you again, True Mystique.
True Mystique. You just around here doing all kinds of good, great, and brilliant creative stuff. Girl, thank you for the glossary. You know I love a glossary. Okay. You about to be tears because there's new words and language. Thank you so
I'm
much.
just I'm just waiting on confidence with love for you to be on your regular show, sitting up there talking about so and so thinks they all this and that. And you don't even know what you think proof of stake is some kind of new cut that they got out there right before you call 9 a.m. 380. See, now we done unleashed that into the universe.
Yeah, because you should really have a stake in your own person. I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. You should think
Yes.
about things before you do them. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
And give up your vampiric ways before you do that though. I'm just saying. I'm
I'm
just
just saying for your own sake.
for your
For your
own
own
safety
sake.
net. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't
Yeah. Yeah. You
careful.
don't want to be doing weird stuff. So, actually we kind of covered um my third question, which is why crypto and why now?
Okay.
But I do want to I do want to I do want to point out one of the many things that you wrote in your book that made me really just stop. And I I read it several times. Um and I kept thinking to myself, now why didn't I get this before? Like, like you said, crypto has officially been around for 15 years, right? And you've been doing this for 4 years, which is a whole lot of experience. But for somebody like who's like, oh, I want to think about it, but I every time I try to read it, my brain just freezes or whatever happens. I don't know what's going on with my processing with that. And um it's this part of it where you're like, oh, I actually have the same opportunity as in any organization, any government, any whatever you entity, any group of people, any person. I have the same opportunity with this that any of those entities or people have.
Hmm.
And something you said in your book is you said it's about the fact that Bitcoin is the world's first hard money, um, and that this is opposed to soft money. So you actually have also told us the story of Bitcoin in here, and you know, so you when you're giving us the full on foundation, the walls, you know, uh the roof, everything, to build this understanding, and you're even insulating it, right? And and you put up walls and everything, floors in. all that person needs to do is paint it whatever color they want, you know? But it is important that you take the time to read and understand, you know? And just like we go look up what Nicki Minaj was wearing today or who got what or how this happened and that happened, that really has no effect on our lives, you know, certainly not good in a lot of cases. This is an opportunity for us to focus on getting ahead of um the fact that here in the United States we go through a recession every 7 years to 10 years. So it just rolls around and every single generation says it. Oh, this is so horrible. You did you didn't have to deal they didn't have to deal with this in the old days, meaning my age. Girl, no, it's because we keep making the same choices. And Miss D is helping us to give us a different option, a different choice that we can make and that we can make our own. So, you were saying the story of Bitcoin and two other examples will give you an understanding of the crypto world and why it functions the way that it does. So, can you talk to us a little bit about chapters 3 through 7? Because that's where I really got, like, I got the language to, like, that's like the operations part of the book, but you can't have operations until you have all the things you're going to be using in those operations. So that's why you don't skip the beginning of the book. you know?
Don't do that.
Yeah, you need that in order, because those are the tools that you need for the operations part. So, um, talk to me about like your journey
Okay,
with
chapters
Chris.
3 through 7, and I've just pulled that up to make sure that I cover all of what you put on my table of contents. Okay, so I did have some background in investing in stocks and bonds before my crypto journey. And I did spend a lot of my 20s reading people like Robert Kiyosaki. Um, I'm trying to remember the name of The Richest Man in Babylon, and I can't. Jim Collins, Good to Great, a lot of books like that about finance. And one of the things that I learned from all the authors around Robert Kiyosaki and that whole set was that there are people, investors, and people who work on earned income live two completely different lives. People who are in earned income only live with whatever waves there are that go through jobs and wages. And because there's a recession every 7 to 10 years, you're always going to be up and down. And that's how most of us live. And as Black women in particular, remember, we are certainly amazing in our educational accomplishments and in our moves through the corporate world, but that also gives us a lot of exposure. And see, I was laid off. I was among the best workers in the place. I trained my replacements. And my boss cried because he had to lay me off because he knew he would never get anyone to work that hard for that much money again. So, been there, done that. Being a business owner can also be still a different life because you're having to build it up from scratch, you're taking losses. But in learning about investing, this allowed me to kind of realize even if you can't get, because crypto bros, the young men, often white, who get into this, everybody wants a Lamborghini. Even if that's not your goal in life, you're going to be able to smooth out these bumps if you have some investment income. That's sort of where my mind was at when I was in my 20s. Of course, crypto became into existence when I was 27. I would not become aware of it until in my 30s. But that came along about that same time. To get back to chapters 3 and 7, A lot of the general investment principles I learned in the GAs when I was thinking more about stocks and bonds. Don't invest in anything you don't understand. Do not invest in anything that invest any money that you cannot afford to lose, which is why crypto is particularly dangerous if you get in at the wrong time because you will lose 90% on every dollar. Um, and then of course buy low, sell high. In crypto, you have a 4-year cycle to get it on the end where you can actually do that. Those three. And then you have to kind of realize, okay, what's your style? What's your investment style? I had time because I had been involved with what's called equity stocks and bonds
Mm-hmm.
to kind of determine. I'm not someone who wants to sit there and stare at the screen every day. I'm not a day trader by. I'm not a short-term trader because I'm not going to be watching the computer. I got other things to do. I got walks to take. I have things to create. Not going to do that. So I had to determine, okay, what's my style? My style is long-term swing trader. So then what happens in crypto is me using the crypto cycle in 4 years actually makes the most sense. Now, that may not work as well for you. You may be somebody who enjoys more of a short term, so you just work within the cycle and catch the ups and downs. And that's fine. Everybody has to have their own style. Good investments, just like in equities and stocks and bonds, if you will, or in real estate, you try to find solid investments. And I put some time in describing Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Hive to give you a sense of what makes a solid investment. There are a lot of, we mentioned the crypto bros. A lot of them are very much taken by the hype. They worship certain charismatic figures and they will follow people around because he's in this project or his name is in this project or his name is in this project. You have to be able to assess the solidity of the technology, the solidity of the mission, and solidity of what, well, if it's a new coin, you look at the team very carefully to see, okay, have they ever done anything that suggests they can pull off what they're promising? And if you look at a coin that has some age on it, then you look at, has it continued to develop through every bear? Do they just pick this up and drop it when there's a bull run and hype it and then drop it? Or are they continuing to do the things they say they're going to do? And then if you're a good trader or investor, you take responsibility for your own education, and you own the moves you make and you learn from them and you move on. I should say a very critical distinction. A trader is in a project for the money that they can make on it over a certain period of time. An investor is actually invested in the process, but also takes profit at appropriate periods of time. It's a little bit different. There are coins that I trade. I don't intend to be in them beyond a particular cycle. And then you can probably guess that on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Hive, I'm more of an investor, but I do take profit at appropriate times. Being good at this is not a question of you knowing everything about it. You don't have to memorize the glossary. You have to take responsibility for your own education and your own decisions. So that's chapter 3. Chapter 4. Wait. Oh, did you have? I'm sorry. I'm looking at my table of contents. Did you have a question?
Um, so so you just said that we're gonna have to take responsibility, right, for um for educating ourselves. And I wanted to hit on that point because this ties into you know buying this book, taking the time with this book, you know, actually um deciding that instead of me going and worrying about this or something else that really doesn't, it's really not going to do anything for my fiscal future or my future at large or my emotional health or any of those things, right? um that we take the responsibility for reading and comprehending because you've put things in place in this book so people can comprehend this new way of this new language, right? And what it means and how you use it to increase your wealth. But you also said we have to be accountable for what we do with it. um, whether we wanted to be, this type of trader or that type of trader. And I think sometimes what happens with us, as black women in general, I'm not speaking for every black woman, but I think what I've noticed that happens with us, including myself, is we only we're just kind of like, oh, I can't do one more thing. Oh, I can't, you know, I started reading this book and it was just too much. And I wanted to press the point that what Miss D is teaching us to she's teaching us several things with this book. Number one, she's teaching us about crypto and she's providing us an option. I've said that. But she's also teaching us that you can, let's say I'm a nurse, and most nurses think you can only be a nurse. They don't break down that you have to be able to read and comprehend an actual whole different language because it's Latin, you know, um, that you have to practice and you have to study, and then you have to put those things um, to use, and then you have to come back and go what worked and what didn't work, because really um, we think of things as a name tag. Well, I can't do that because I'm not smart enough. Oh, I can't do that. My name tag doesn't say brilliant. Oh, I can't. What is crypto and Bitcoin? Well, I'll say this is a person who's dyslexic. If you didn't get it the first time you read it, then you got the book, go back and read it till you do. And if you need help, Miss D put in a glossary, right? So I'm telling us these are the steps that we are going to need to be responsible and accountable for if we want financial freedom. I have people looking at me now going, how do you get to do all of these things or whatever? Because I plan to retire at 45. Okay. I didn't until I was 53 or whatever, but I plan to retire at 40. So there are steps and things you have to learn in order to do that. And one of the things you have to be able to do, the reason I can talk any way I want and do whatever I want, besides that's what I'm going to do anyway. But the reason I also can do it is because I have financial freedom that other people do not. But I planned
Absolutely.
for that back here though. And I took action back here. And I went through the steps. I messed up. I failed. I succeeded. Then I failed at something else. Then I succeeded at something else. And then I failed at something over here, but I succeeded over here. You'll never, I did not wait on my nursing license to come to the mailbox. Okay. I actually went to school. I studied, I learned it, I applied it, and then I monitored myself to see what was working and wasn't working. And then I came up with alternate plans, and then I studied some more, and eventually I was able to take the test to become a nurse, to be licensed. But it takes steps. It's no good if you're looking at, say you're looking at Miss D and she's like, she got a financial freedom, love over there with her financial freedom. What the heck? And da 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 da. But you stop yourself and go, oh, but I can't do that. Miss D is telling you in no uncertain terms, but you really can though. You really can. She wasn't born knowing about Bitcoin, people. She just told you she spent this time learning. And in her case, she started learning 4 years ago. So you can never get somewhere if you don't start and then you don't take the steps to get there. Okay. And if every time you come up against a roadblock, black women, nothing can block us. Since when? Since when did things actually block us? Whatever we put our minds to, girl, it'd be like, okay, yeah, I don't know it now, but I will. I sure will. So, um, you said something else, Miss D, in the book, and I'm gonna quote you. I'm gonna quote this from the book, and I just want you to. I I want us to talk about this in particular. I know I be picking up on the weirdest stuff, but sometimes. But Miss D said, if you follow politics and finance, you may have heard about several banks struggling with liquidity issues. You may have heard talks about crypto needing regulation because of Uncle Sam, I think you meant, and a few other bad actors. Okay, because you know it's always going to be somebody tripping, right? Look what happened with Wells Fargo and Bank of America and some of these other banks allegedly taking people money, right? So so there's always going to be bad actors in something. We don't want to let that stop us either. But okay. So so Miss D goes on to say um it may have been a while since you've heard the name Bitcoin and widespread discussion. The reason for this is timing. The crypto market follows Bitcoin, and just like she told us, right here she says in every 4 years Bitcoin goes through what is called a halving event, right? And she discusses, she gives you clarity on what that means. um I think one of the things that um that really struck me was that we need to pay closer attention to politics and economics, and kind of stop saying to ourselves, "Oh no, I can't do that." But I'm telling you, if you are a single black woman or you ever been one, you already did you live to today and you took care of yourself, you already have been dealing with finances. You already are dealing with economics. You're already dealing with the politics. You already are. You think you're not? You are, because the politics are the rules that people lay out for you. And and you don't, sometimes we don't even know that that's a part of politics, right? um that people are making choices for us, like sending our tax money places we didn't ask for it to go. People are making choices for us, and that takes away from our ability to be free, right? And then what they'll want to do is regulate how we make how we build our own wealth. So this thing where you are actually you're actually looking at different things that have an effect on it. Can you tell us why that's important?
In the crypto space in particular, um, crypto is still largely an unregulated market. Another black woman, Yvette Carnell of Breaking Brown, every bear market, I mean, she hasn't missed it for a few years. Talks about how dangerous it is for black people in general to just run into crypto because it's unregulated. Now,
Mhm.
I didn't know she had done that till I completed this book. I didn't realize she'd put in a couple of years talking about this. But because crypto is unregulated and because it's new, if you know the history of markets, you know that where the money is really made is when the market is young and new. because once it becomes regulated and established, it begins to be dominated by institutional figures, and also certain investments are only available for what's called accredited investors. And there is a possibility, because crypto is so wild, that what governments will do to get most retail investors out of it is that they will set it up that you can only invest in it as an accredited investor. An accredited investor has to have a certain amount of money in the bank. An accredited investor has to have a certain amount of experience in the market. And if you don't have those things, particularly in a market that's only 15 years old, you're essentially locked out in your country if that happens. Because most of us do not have that kind of money in the bank, and most of us don't have that kind of market experience. There is a possibility that that will happen, although, to be fair, it seems to be retreating. Um, I mentioned in the book that Bitcoin and Ethereum are now considered commodities, but the Securities and Exchange Commission tried to knock out the entire market and have it declared unregistered security. The courts have been pushing back on this. So some coins, Bitcoin and Ethereum come to mind because they're the two biggest, already have escaped. This is why I talk more about them. And because Hive trades to both of them easily.
So if let me see. So are you saying to us that because the US or whoever has had such a difficult time regulating it, it it really makes it a lot easier for us to have a level playing field, because sometimes when the US regulates things, it is so they can cut out
Yep.
um people like yourself, myself, the people who get the taxes taken out of their money the most. We can't look to the left or the right because we live in paycheck to paycheck. But at this point, they have been unable to do that because this was already a global type thing, and that um it's I'm gonna put it like this, like for those of you who use TikTok is owned by the Chinese. So while the US may have a problem with the fact that TikTok has changed and now you're learning so much more about history and all the things that our government books they trying to burn or outlaw or whatever in the United States, right? They can't stop that with TikTok because they did not it didn't start here. It ain't here. It is not run by the people here. Okay? That was one of the few first times that I saw uh liberals and and Republicans and Democrats, whoever, independents, all get together over there in Congress and like, no, we gotta censor them.
Yeah.
Because once we did the black girl train, if you guys go back, you'll see how this worked. Once we did one of the things they did never want you to know as black women is number one, you are powerful. You are elemental power. That's why they need you to fix everything while always telling us that we're not enough and will never be enough. Okay. We're only as useful as we are to other people, right? That's how they think. So with crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, they haven't been able, the United States has not been able to put those barriers to entry in the way that they tend to do, which means that I can't, I can't, I would have to have all these special hoops that I jump through, get, FDA approved on my back or something, and all of this.
Maybe not all that, but
Okay, well,
I know I hear what you're saying.
yeah, because I'm just me, right? So, that you are again giving us an opportunity because so far the United States hasn't been able to come in and wipe that option and make it only optional for the people who already have money.
That's basically what the U.S. appears, and it's not only the United States. Let's just say that all of the old colonial powers, uh, Bitcoin and Hive are huge in Ghana, Nigeria, Venezuela. So what I'm really saying is the global South. The global South is not supposed to have anything.
Mhm.
Uh, have El Salvador uses Bitcoin as legal tender at this point. So none of the colonial European powers and their offspring are terribly happy about all of us being able to have access to it. The only thing is, it's kind of out of their grasp. And I should just mention that we don't know what the next election will bring. What's interesting about this is, like you mentioned, how Republicans and Democrats and independents all got together to try to stop TikTok not too long after the Black Girl Follow train.
Mhm.
It is interesting to me because the United States, a lot of people we have in office, and this is no knock against the elder generation. First of all, you got to catch up and understand it. My book just came out this week. So there's not that much available to just break it down to the common level. So a lot of what you see in politics, if they don't understand it, but they do hear about the bad stuff that happens every bear market where people lose. I don't know. There's a young man on trial named Sam Bankman-Fried who allegedly walked off with 200 billion. That's with a B in people's investments. So they hear about the bad stuff. So you've got people who genuinely don't understand it and are scared. But then you just have people who also you have to understand that Mr. Freed lobbied on the Hill. So a lot of people protected him in the bull market to let him get up that high, which again goes to the thing of it is okay. These people believe it is okay for the people that already have it to play around with it, but
Mhm.
then want to make laws that quote protect you. The Republicans are interesting on this because though they know a lot of their constituents are running out of options in the legacy financial system. So they actually tend to be
Mhm.
more supportive. If somehow Robert F. Kennedy Jr. becomes we do have some Democrats also, the Democrat nominee, if somehow that were to occur, he also is crypto friendly. So you have Patrick McHenry, Republican congressman, who is the head of the financial committee, who sat in the speaker's seat for a few days, who's crypto friendly. And you have a Democrat who's crypto friendly because certain people of their background are running out of options. Um, I mentioned that crypto bros tend to be younger white men. So there's an interesting nexus that's happening there. But at the end of the day, this is not a pleasant thing to say, but it is the straight fact from 1619 until now. A chattel making, slave making nation who was founded by people who also looked down on their former serfs, because Washington and Jefferson and Madison and Lee had names 1,000 years before they showed up. Well, before today, 500 years before they showed up in America. They do not want to see that many things happen that allow average white people to draw even. But then you get down to black women, and Conference of Love has talked about this, who were brought here solely to keep the slavery system going. The idea that we should have access, that we gonna have a follow train and don't add them. Not trying to see that. Now, I'm not saying that's the thing on top of mind, except that you realize Democrats can't win any election without us. So if we decide we want crypto, the 18 million of us, then the Democrats will become crypto friendly. We do have some control over it. But can that happen before the next cycle tops out? I don't know. So my thing is, let me give you this knowledge now so that you can be prepared to know what you're doing, because we don't know actually what's going to happen beyond 2024, depending on what kind of administration we get and all that. We don't know what the effect on 2025 is going to be. But the politics around this are interesting. But
Mhm.
you live in the United States of America, a country that had no problem of rank slavery and genocide for 246 years. Both my African and my native ancestresses can tell you. So, uh, and I have some white great grandmother back there. The great grandmothers weren't treated well either. Because as women, no, 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 we're not supposed to be able to go get money from the market and ask no man to do whatever it is we darn well please. So you got to think about that too. I want you to learn while the getting is good. I did not say get in. Please do not get into anything that you haven't taken the time to understand. But I want you to learn because I cannot say, no one can say with any certainty. We may be in World War III by 2026. But I know that the open door that we have today, it's still open. But just because of the way the European Central Powers are, they do not have a great. This conversation will not be pleasing because they don't see us as free people and they don't want us to have tools. So while the tool is there, it's there for you to use.
So that brings me to something that is, it's more, um it's going to sound more general, but it actually is specific in a way, um to why we're having this talk about crypto, and that Miss D wrote a whole book on it to help walk us through some understanding, at least giving us, you know, these really great, um where we all we got to do is bring in the furniture and paint the walls. See, you know what I'm saying? Because then, we individualize it, in other words. um we I've said this for a long time. I don't think we understand or believe or whatever that we as black women and black girls are going to need to build our own infrastructures. And over the years, when I've said that, I get pushback, pushback, pushback. But then when something happens to one of us, which it does every day, every 4.5 to 5 hours a day, or that 60% of our daughters, granddaughters, nieces, and goddess daughters, um, are being SA'd by the time they're 18. Many of us have gone through the same soul rending, violent acts. We at the top of the list for domestic violence. We're at the top of the list for dying during childbirth. Well, we're really at the top of the list for dying from, a lot of things compared to other demographics, because we are not held sacred, protected, or uplifted. But apart, in order for us to be that, we have to hold ourselves and each other sacred, protected, and uplifted. So, healthcare as it is, no matter how much we beg, plead, education as in this country, in the United States, I'm saying, as it is, um, we have to beg and plead and pretty please. The judicial system, the economic system, the housing system, all of these different things that we beg and plead for people to have just a little bit of compassion, for us, that we beg for equality, that we work to try to get equality. We work on ourselves, and we go into companies and we learn all of these things to make sure that that company makes money and runs. But at the same time, um we are overwhelmed, we are exhausted. um it's just so much. So I don't believe that we're going to be able to change the whole system, because that would require the people that created it or let me say made it, because they don't create nothing. People that made it to decide that it is indeed killing its most vulnerable, populace. I think we're going to need to create our own education system for our children, our own healthcare system, and it's already being done. Not on mean in a, what's that dude? I can't even call it Umar way. I'm talking about for real, like by black women who like brought land.
26
Yeah,
years and we still waiting on that school.
yeah,
Hello.
yeah, yeah. He ain't okay. That's not black men don't be doing all that. I hate to tell y'all, black women. Okay, well, but we do have black women who are willing to work with each other because we have all these organizations out here. We're just all in silos, right? Instead of pulling these things together. And if we did, we could have places like the birth center in Detroit that was founded and is run and is basically populated by black women who work with labor and delivery, during the pregnancy, during labor and delivery, and after, and the infant. Okay. And it's centered around black, it's centered around black women, but black girls and black children. Okay. So even if, whoever comes, whatever other demographic comes, they are going to get the same exceptional treatment that black women and black girls get. We, on the other hand, can't go to their hospitals and stuff and doctors' offices and get any of the above, even though we have quote unquote health insurance and whatever else. I'm saying quote unquote because you paying out the nose for it. I know. Um, so we have an opportunity to I can only say this the way I can say this. Form a black woman, black girl, black child community that serves us. And that is going to include not just the normal stuff, we talk about like education, healthcare, these things. That is going to include banking. Mhm. That is going to include the economy. That is also going to include our security and protection. Okay. You, in order to build what I'm talking about, it's not difficult because let me tell you something, black woman, you already did it 10 times over. If you are a single woman, you did it for yourself a lot of the times. If you are a single woman in a family, you also are helping other people. Okay. If you and you may be running the finances for your parents or you know um other people that you're giving care to. If you are a single black mother, girl, I know for a fact I've been one of those. I've been a single black mother, honey, and um, that that comes with learning all of these different things from different perspectives because we in our household we have our economics together. We have our the healthcare system together. The kids got healthcare, we got healthcare. We don't care how we had to do, we got it though. We are building wealth. We are educating our children. We are trying to ensure that our children are decent, loving, compassionate human beings, right? That doesn't mean other people can't influence them outside of the society. But I'm saying we do these things already. I think we think because we're wearing this certain name tag, oh, oh no, I could never think about crypto or anything like that. I can barely get through my day because with all the things we're doing, we're also working, right? And a lot of us go back to school. So, um, isn't it time that we we build some systems for ourselves? And then we also have to think about things like trade, which again, crypto and because this is the next steps, right? In world economics. Crypto feeds back into that. So so I want us to be in a space where I don't I don't need to ask you for nothing. Okay? Girl, I don't need to beg nobody. I don't ask y'all. I just go and do the work and take it. But I'm saying, um, I don't want us to be in this position anymore where we need to depend on whoever else in a government sense, I mean, because we have the qualifications to do whatever it is we choose to do. And if we don't have it, one thing I know about black women is they will go get qualified. So why not get qualified in your own life, buy Miss D's book, and work on your financial freedom. One thing I've taught my goddess born daughters is what you really need is multiple streams of income. And I would like to see at least right, in this moment that 70% of your of that income it is passive income.
That's a
Okay.
good metric to aim for.
Yeah, we can work our way up to that being 100% of your income, girl. So you can do what your mama be out there doing, laying on the beach at her beach office, okay? But a step around the world. Because of course, I want her to do better than I ever did. So, um, but we get mired in, yes, we should have degrees if we want them. I got a bunch of letters and stuff. Okay, whatever. We should have experience. Yes, we ought to do all of those things. And the reason I'm blowing it off is I'm blowing off the part where other people tell us that we have to have this degree, that one, this certification, whatever. When Sally could be over here or whatever, Legion, y'all call it, whatever you do. Um, and she didn't have to have any of that. And she's actually been put in authority over you. So I don't want us to get that block where we say to ourselves, because we've heard it so much, that, oh, this won't work. Oh, we can't, Miss D is not asking that you trust her. She's asking for you to read the book and do what you need to do to comprehend. And honestly, um, if I got it, if I got what she was saying, any of us could get it. A- Anyone.
Let me
And
tell you a little. Oh, go ahead.
go ahead.
Let me tell you a little bit about me. Again, I'm a creative. The mind of someone who creates music in particular is not always well set up for dry things like cryptographic hash. I'm on a weight loss journey. I try not to eat too many hash browns, for that matter. I'm not trying to do no hash. Corned beef hash. We know each other, but we're not an acquaintance right now. We're not living that kind of life. If I can do it, being wired almost exactly opposite of the kind of person that generally does this. So the average person who's in crypto is the average person you think of who would be in tech, Silicon Valley down the road. Generally from a privileged background, because getting that kind of education talk is, takes a lot of money. And generally, by the time, let's see, I would have been 38. Generally, by the time you're 38, your brain is pretty well wired for whoever it is you're going to be. So I'm a major creative. It is what it is. Who, though, has some background, like I said, had some background in at least looking at business, because I went into business because folks take half your royalty checks if you don't have a business to put your publishing income in.
Mhm.
That's why. So I didn't even start out wanting to do that. But what I have going for me is that I'm open to have added to me whatever needs to be added to me, trusting and believing that I was created in such a way that if it's meant to be added to me, I have the capacity. But my brain is not wired to have ever understood this. And in fact, I had to pray for a whole different way to be added for me to be able to connect my creativity and be in it long enough to learn it. So if I can spend 4 years bumping my head, but I don't want you to bump your head, which is why I spent last week giving out advanced reader copies. We're not even done till Friday at midnight with me giving away free copies
Mhm.
because I don't want there to be any barriers but the ones I can't do anything for you about. And that's whatever barriers that you have, what Confidence with Love has taught us are called upper limiting behaviors. But I'm trying to remove every other one because you can, if I can do this, if I can, with the wiring my brain has, could find my way to do this, anybody can. The fact that I stayed around for 4 years shows you that anybody can. Because my brain doesn't naturally work that way. And I was 38, not 28. I wasn't down there with True Mystique in the 20s. I wasn't with some of my younger sisters that I talked to about here who are late teens and early 20s. Brain all flexible, still growing. The corpus callosum is not even closed yet. No, no, no. I was 38. So if I at 38, uh, who is a major creative community servant out here running around making sure everybody else is good, that's the way I think. Studying crypto would not have come top of mind for me. But if I can learn it, you can learn it. I have never yet met anyone in my entire life on this earth who was not a genius. Question is, can you tap into it? And what are you invested in that gets in the way? And that's every race of people I've ever met. Some people are invested in oppression, and that'll shut it down. Some people are convinced that they are as oppressed and as helpless as they've been told they are, and that will shut it down. But if you get past either of those, you can learn anything you want to learn out here. But I can't learn you, but I can make it available if you're open.
Well, you know what? I it's going to sound out there cuz it's me. But I have a question for you, and um I think it's important to what you're saying, and that you wrote this book, and that you are freely giving it because you believe in the freedom of Black women and Black girls, and that for the most part, what we learned about our history is we tend to actually give back to the entirety of humanity. We're not saying um only treat us well, but we fight for other groups of people, and we have throughout our history. That's kind of been a part of our behavioral pattern um altogether. But I wonder, can you share feelings for both what you worked, studied, and accomplished? Like how this feels for you to have taken your brilliance, your ability to create, um, and your your ability to influence your environment, what it feels like to you to have accomplished writing this book and putting it forth and doing it with such integrity. How do you feel?
It is a complicated experience. They talk about the gamut. That's really a term from playing organ, which I can do, but at emergency need, y'all don't. Some church things, y'all don't even want to hear that story right now. But the idea is it runs a gamut. And in gamut, you pull out different stops to make different sounds on the organ. One a tremendous sense of responsibility. If you had caught me on July 1st and said, "You're going to write your fifth book," I would have laughed y'all up out of here. Every single one of you. Y'all, full contralto thunder. Ain't nowhere in the world. Had no idea. But I saw two videos that roll into my feed, so apparently I was meant to see them. And I said, "Lord, what will you have me to do?" July 31st or thereabouts. So just almost 3 months ago. Write your fifth book and give it to the people. It's summertime. You need to get it out by autumn. So I took the journal that you gave me in the Becoming a Self-Confident Woman, and I actually drafted that outline in there. It's in there, actually. That's how I got that done. Page after page after page, outline after outline. That was August, most of August. So on one hand, it's a tremendous responsibility because, as we said at the beginning, I am essentially doing something that is subversive in the American system. We're not supposed to be at the beginning. Actually, retail, take whatever color you want. Retail is not supposed to be at the beginning of anything. We're supposed to come in so institutional and bigger investors can get out. But since crypto is a little bit more level than that, the early people get in, and institutional investors are just finding the market, really. But the idea is, at the back of the line are all the retail investors who come in on the hype. And at the back of the line, of the back of the line, here we are. But see, God did not choose a Black woman by accident. I know that. So it is a very large responsibility. There's also a tremendous amount of relief. October 30th, Monday, marks about 3 months to the day. And when it came with the idea for continued learning to also have a newsletter. The SCRBFF obviously sees the Crypto Bull Run Financial Freedom newsletter, so that people who are willing to invest in themselves further can have the news broken down, get some more learning material, have more people explain things. Because, people connect with different kinds of explanations. Some people will read, but then there's videos in there, so you can have people do it visually for you. So if you want more, as we go toward the bull run, there's more information there for you. There's a exclusive playlist in the book where if you have questions, you can go to the videos that already exist in that playlist and post them, and I'll come back and maybe do a personal walkthrough on some of those things. So relief that things actually happen at 12 midnight and 12 noon exactly. Relief. There's a tremendous amount of joy. I took a day off. Thank you. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to put you first because you're on the screen in front of me. Confidence with Love has been instrumental in building on knowledge that I got from Alicia Release the Artist, Stephanie Perry, and Adelia Borshade and Rashida Dow about Black women resting. So yesterday I took a day off and joy at last overtook me. It is so, I don't think of myself as a bigger, larger than life person. It's like y'all kind of look at me and you like you said at the beginning, it's amazing how much you do. And I'm just maid servant of Most High God. I mean, I just have, he handed it to me and I try to be faithful. But it means a great deal to me. It is very humbling. And at the same time, a joy almost at the verge of ecstasy. A lot of that's relief too, of course. It's been a rough year. We were talking offline about how I would have planned this before, we talked last week about the permit. The way I would have planned this is totally different than what has occurred. And yet everything is in its place. And I know that I have done what I was sent here to do. And then sometimes there is still kind of that sadness. Because again, my plan included different things that I thought was a good idea. And some of the sadness is you just have to remember that as a human being, even as a brilliant Black woman, there's a level, we talked on our Aunties last week about certain hierarchies. I'm not running the universe. So there are certain things I have to accept as the pruning takes place in power higher than myself that I thought was a good idea. But then the people that I have around me, though, are the ones that he chose. And they're the perfect people to have around me for what it's actually meant for me to do. So sometimes you just have to go through them 5 stages of grief and just realize, okay, what I want to do, no, don't have time to be angry. I got to get this out. Bargaining, don't have time to bargain. I got to get this out. Depression, I'll deal with that as I go. because they have still, like I said, there are some days where it's like, but should we better been able to there's still a little bit of that acceptance, because having to move forward to make sure the next bull run is predicted to end. The data I have says October the 30th, 2025. So for me to be able to say with confidence, the confidence with love, and the Black women that I serve, that you have 2 full years, I now have to have the book out by October 30th, 2023, to give us 2 full years. So it has been a collection of emotions. I'm sure that it will continue to be. Uh, a lot of his relief. There's some joy there. I have done what it said. I have faithfully discharged my duty. I have to kind of go with my veteran father on this one. I feel that I have faithfully discharged my duty as best I can, and in marketing and advertising as we go forward is part of that duty as well. But I wanted to make absolutely certain that Black women could get in front for once. Like you said last week, finally, we can be out here in front. Now, of course, that also depends on how much we want to invest in understanding it and letting our sisters know. Now is not the time to be like, see, I'm gonna find to be able to stand on so and so because I got this and I got. Please don't do that. There's enough Satoshis for everyone. There are going to be 21 million Bitcoins. Each of them is divided into 100 million parts. Bitcoin is so expensive. No, you want it to be expensive because that means your Satoshis, the little pieces of it, will be worth something too. We don't need to compete. We don't need to compare. There's enough for everyone. If I could be sitting around on July 25th with no idea to do this and have a whole book downloaded into my consciousness within a month, there's enough for everyone. There really is. There's enough for everyone. And it has been my duty, my honor, and my pleasure to be of service to the world community at large. Because, like I said, I got people reading this on 4 continents, and some of them are Europeans, and some of them are Venezuelans, and some of them are Africans, and some of them are men, and some of them are women. But to make sure that the circle of women that I'm in, and the circles that you are in, and the circles whereby you have time so that those of you who will, there's a great deal of joy there. Again, great deal of responsibility, but at this point, some of that is not mine anymore. I've done what I came to do. I'm going to continue to make sure that we have opportunities to go through this material and learn it. But now, what happens next? I'm passing you the baton for free until Friday midnight. And then $5. Lowest barrier of entry that I can do for a book of that value. It's not a 99-cent book. It's not a 2.99-cent book. Even the paperback, I'm sort of going around in my head. I know what the book is worth. But at the same time, I want to make it accessible because True Mystique came up in here talking about she's going to buy a whole bunch of copies. Well, that's good, True Mystique, because you need to have those copies. That's part of your portfolio. You did an amazing job. Um, that's part of your portfolio.
Yes, true.
Make it so people
Yes.
can buy. There are 18 million Black women. So what would it look like if 10% of us helped, if we that have it help 10% of us have this? Or even 1% of us having this would be 180,000, darn near 200,000. 10% would be 1.8 million. And people decided, okay, well, you would see valuations on different things absolutely go wild. But this would also mean that we would be in a position so that when the hype finally starts a year from now, that we can get to make choices about not only how we enter, but how we then allow other people, because they didn't pay attention and they didn't buy the book, to be the ones that buy from us while we get out and enjoy 2025. I love what she said about her beach office. But we can be in our beach offices as opposed to financing other people doing that and then having to cry because this is a scam. I didn't know the crypto bull run was going to end on October 30th, and I came up here and bought my crypto on October 25th because I just heard about it. No. Lots of people did that. And that's why Sam Bankman-Fried allegedly was able to walk off with $200 billion. A lot of that came in at the wrong time. We don't have to do any of that. And that's the gift
Yeah.
that I want us to have. And like I said, like I tell you all the time, I'm not a bigot. I want anybody who wants to buy this book. I saw some interesting personage give the worst TED talk in history. I'm like, you know what? Let me get my life together. Get me a big purple and gold dress. I might even go through TED Talk's thought leader program and walk up there to make sure that everybody that can get a chance to know about this actually does and do me a TED Talk. I want everybody to stop being taken advantage of. But we got to get folk on the back of the line, of the back of the line to the front of the line first. And that's us.
Yeah. Um, you know, I mean, I watched from my own angle you do this. You you were already in Hive, on Peaked. You were already doing that. Um, but I want y'all to know that, like, we all know I study people's behaviors, but I have um studied Miss D's too. Nobody's exempt from me studying, baby.
See, you come into our lives to keep us honest, cause
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You could, and one of the things about that is I have my own thing that I'm supposed to do, and you know, those of you who know me, like in the chat, or you're getting to know me, I actually watch for the true mystiques of the world and the Miss D's of the world. Um, I watch for the women who are in our chat. For those of you who will see this later, I actually watch for you. And when I detect that, I'm not always right about what I think I see, but when I detect that, um I try to uplift it, you know? And oftentimes I'm just behind the scenes and nobody knows I'm even there or anything like that. But one thing I understood um in watching Miss D, um, like your behavioral patterns, and that is like, this book kind of shows, well, it shows everyone your actual compassion. This isn't a book where you are going around just trying to get clicks or some weird thing, right? This book, you put this book together, you already had the knowledge. You already doing this. You did not have to take the time to put this book together. You did not have to take your creative, energy to have the right mindset around it as to how you were going to roll it out, the different ways you were going to roll it out. Um, and that's what I find in more genuine people. Like, their behavioral pattern, which means like the third time they do something and then on you see them, and that doesn't mean their behavior can't change, because your behavior can change if you want it to. Okay, that's why when we all out here trying to change black men and whatever, I keep going, they're grown. You're like, just like you're grown, right? So I've watched Miss D, and um I don't I don't particularly care about what someone's religious stance is. I don't care that someone is different from me. In fact, I need them to be different from me. Um, I don't care that we debate about things because I love a debate. Okay. I love seeing I love seeing what I've seen in Misty. And so for me, as I'm just a little bit older here, people, come on. I'm a whole 56. And that is not that the number itself is not a flex, but the responsibility that I should have as someone at this age when I see my contemporaries coming through and doing their thing, I ought to be able to uplift them in the ways that I can. You know, I ought to be able to um, be accountable and responsible for what I say. Um, and I say some real, I'd say some real stuff. We know that. But behind the scenes and in in retrospect of things, and as we're moving, forward. So I think our idea of loyalty and friendships and relationships, we're gonna have to relook at that as Black women, and especially our relationship with ourselves. You are worthy. You do deserve to have financial freedom. You do deserve to um, pick up a book that will give you the information, and it will give you such a great foundation. And the fact is, yes, you do need to pay. I fully believe you need to pay Miss D for her knowledge, because that's not okay. It costs a lot to get this knowledge, whether it's your time, whether it's you buying books, whether you what and you're autodidactic, whether you take classes, whether you graduate, whatever it is you did, your experiences in life that you put together for someone else. We will pay other people, but we ain't gonna pay a sister. No, no, we're gonna stop doing that too. Um, but the way Misty operates is, and I've done this too, but it's not. I'll say, like, when I grow up, I want to have a heart like Misty or my twin cousin, like for real. Um, because I'm pretty like apex predator. So you know, I'm not necessarily looking at, oh well, blah, this and that. No, 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 no. I learned this. If you go to McDonald's, you think you're getting a fry for free? You not. You not. But when it comes to us supporting each other, because Miss D is not telling you to give your money to her and she'll invest it for you. See the difference?
Mm-mm.
She is
No.
information, and you can take that information, you can use it, you can build upon it, you can know more, you can fold it into how you process and how you do things with your finances. You can invest this much or not that much or not at all. That's all entirely up to you. And I've just found Miss D to be very responsible and accountable in her walk. And and you know, sometimes what I will do is throw something out there, right? And with the people that I'm watching, and I'm gonna see what they're gonna do with it. Miss D just put something out there for us. Now, what are we gonna do with it? Because as soon as I got her book, girl, I was like, okay, I done took my BC powder. I know she's gonna be talking about numbers. She gotta be. It's gonna be a whole bunch of numbers, and I only like numbers when it comes to my bank account. Um, but I'm just saying, Okay. And it was just absolutely incredible, Misty. Like I can't rave enough. I'm I, I, I'm getting I'm gonna get I've sent a couple Kindle, but I'm going to do exactly what True is saying. I'm gonna do what I hope all of you listening to Miss D today. Um and what I'm encouraging you to do as well. Buy the book. It is $4.99 after Friday. Okay, it's free till Friday through Friday. Okay, 11:59. Okay, 12. Well, it's gonna switch. so so we do this a lot as Black women. We give so much. We take our experiences, we crystallize it. That's why people are always coming to us. And that's something else I want to say. Miss D could have taken this information and her experience and her brilliance and everything she put into her education, all of these different things. She could have taken all of that and taken it to a corporation. She could have worked for, corporate, for a salary or you know, um what you call it?
Consulting.
Not consulting. You could have done it as their salaried employee.
Yeah, I could
But
have easily worked this into a big job
yeah,
coming
yeah.
up.
But what she's done is she's taken her powers, abilities, talent, experience, education, and she's made it so people are going to have to come to her. You y'all going to have to come to her. And what that means is she will be able to set a price on her time, on how she the classes she's probably already built around this. She's going to be able to set her she's going to be able to set herself as her own um commodity, not someone else's. Okay? She's going to be able to tell you um she's going to set the price. Nobody else is going to give her a salary and tell her that's all you're going to get. But you're going to give her everything else that you are to us, including from here on out your thoughts, because now you work for us, so therefore your thoughts belong to us,
Including your intellectual property. Yep.
including your intellectual property.
Yeah. Which is why I tend to self publish because I understand that. Remember, the first
Mm-hmm,
book was
mm-hmm,
about that. I understood that part.
mm-hmm.
Let me put it to y'all this
Yeah.
way. It is fascinating to me to see coins that I use my knowledge to pick in July now being eyed by large institutions to go buy them because I know how to do that. You will have a sense of how to begin to do that by the time you have read through chapter 8.
Mm-hmm.
If I were, I'm not an apex predator, but there is a ferocious defender in here. But if I were more one of those people who was a little bit more scared about the world and inclined to defend myself and felt very competitive toward Black women, it would be very easy for me to sit up and do better and think to myself, well, I'm not going to be annoyed by anyone because, I don't really trust anyone because my experiences in the world have not told me that I necessarily need to do that. It would have been very easy for me to sit up this year and next year and get a long way ahead of a lot of people and listen to everybody else having their problems and just kind of tip out things when I felt like it. I was not sent to this planet to do that, though. But there are plenty of people who will happily. And in terms of us being able to defend ourselves in the time to come, I want everyone to think to themselves getting pieces of financial freedom that are accessible to retail, to Main Street. Now, in all fairness, dividend stocks are available. Many, many stocks and bonds in many, many different industries are available. If you bought Hershey stock, let's say in a summer, you're probably doing really well on November the 2nd. You're going to continue to do well until after Easter. All of them can be learned. But because crypto is so mathematical, not to say entirely predictable, but its cycles are predictable. And because we have this maybe last window before the United States of America does succeed in making it much harder to get started, I offer this to you from a position of, I was thinking of this last night. One of the most loving things the Lord Jesus said to his disciples before us dying on the cross, ascending into heaven, I go to prepare a place for you, that where I am, you may be also. When Harriet Tubman died, before she died, is what she said about her death. I'm going to prepare a place for you. One of the most loving things that anyone can do, and I have four mothers and some forefathers there too, who did their level-headed best, like you just said here. I mean, I've okay, I got Aunt Flo going, so the waterworks on this end are up here too. But when Confidence with Love and Level Up Single Mom talked about one, I've given it to my precious daughter, that was you. And Level Up Single Mom said, I feel that I'm going to be blessed with my children. One of the ways you show love is, I'm 42, I will not be here always. But some of you who are significantly younger than me will take this information. And once you have knowledge of how to assess an asset, you have it. So if you learn how to assess what you need to look at on crypto, you then can then turn around and go look at stocks and bonds and equities and real estate and realize, wait, some of these things actually apply over because they came from older markets and they still apply in crypto. It must go in reverse. It is not enough for me to just sit here and be sitting on a beach knowing that people that I say that I've loved and put my lifetime into serving don't have access to the knowledge. Love demands where I go that you may be also. However, again, the choice is still up to you. It's just like the Lord Jesus Christ isn't grabbing folks and forcing them into the kingdom. Therefore, I cannot also. Even though I wish I could just grab up some people, but you're free. And therefore, no one is allowed to do that to you. So the right is you don't have to be forced. The responsibility is that means you have to choose to go yourself. But to the best of my capability, I wanted you to have the opportunity for us to be in 2024, depending on the election, talking about, well, if we need to get out of here, we can. Bitcoin spends everywhere. So, we got our passports, we got our Bitcoin on our exchanges, got it on our wallets, got it on our stuff, all that's in the book. Or somehow we make it through the time we're in. And we're in 2025, having been able to ride this all the way to the appropriate time. And I'm going to tell you when the appropriate time is approximately. If you know the bull market is going to end in October, you'll probably want to be done by September, maybe even
Oh,
off
oh,
of 2025.
yeah.
So if we know that the end date is going to be around this time in 2025, people are still going to be coming in the market talking about what it's going to do. And in fact, I should probably mention if the charts follow the mathematics, there will be an alert incident in the spring. Actually, there will be a big drop, and people who you will see in the newsletter who follow it will be telling you about something called the pi cycle top, which comes before the actual top. So the spring, early summer, there'll be a warning. And of course, I'll put that warning out publicly. You'll see the details behind it in the newsletter. By that time, I may have some courses and some consulting for an appropriate price for you to sit down and we can talk about, okay, this is what we see. It might be time for those of you that just, to kind of begin moving toward the door. I want us to sit in 2026 where everybody else is still doing stupid stuff and wondering why it nothing working. And we just at our beach office talking about what we're going to learn next.
Mm-hmm.
What we going by that time, Confidence with Love may have her 8th book out. What we gonna learn next? Instead of us being at the back of the line, I am 42 years old. I cannot express to you how tired I am of Black women being at the back of the line of the back of the line, while other people are just out here skating. And they're out here skating based on labor our foremothers did too, you know? Hello.
Most definitely.
So again, it's not enough for me to sit up here and be able to put little pennies and things here and there and know that those suckers will grow because of knowing how to make good investments. Because I have put in my life and service to the people. Where I am, I want you to be also. Barring, of course, World War III, which we cannot predict. Barring something real dumb around the election that we can't predict. Bitcoin and the rest should do what they always do in 2024 and 2025, barring those two incidents. The Federal Reserve is also probably about to stop all these rate hikes. So if what's called, well, we don't have a glossary here, quantitative easing, which is putting more money into the economy, begins again, then you're going to have the same kind of setups that you had in 2020 and 2021 when they were putting more money into the economy because of COVID. If they go back to that with all these institutions trying to get in at the same time, those of you who put the time in learning between now and let's say the Bitcoin halving event will be ready to make moves that you can take a few pennies and maybe you come out with some quarters and some dimes. And every now and again, it does happen. You put in a penny, you have $1.25. But you have to actually put the learning in for that. It is available to you.
And um I'm gonna say it again. This book is absolutely incredible. Um, I thank you so
You're
much
welcome.
for
Thank
doing
you.
this work. Like, wow, like I was just like, yes, yes. And I also feel like, you worked with True Mystique, who is here today, and um there's others of us who talk behind the scenes. Sometimes I know we're all kind of busy. Some of us have our own channels. We're doing all types of work. um and one of the things um one of the things that I've heard from um younger black women is that, like, my age group and older hasn't given enough information to um to you. And I take that on. Like, I really do take that on. um I can't speak for everybody, mama, aunt, and whoever, but what I can say is I do deeply feel it is my responsibility um to share what I know, you know. And when I find other women, black women especially of like mind, I definitely um want all of them to be featured, you know, especially as it surrounds black women and black girls, because again, we will take what we know and we will spread it out amongst the people we love, right? That's generally us. And so um I just appreciate so much that you've done this, Miss D, and I know what I know. I don't know all the things, but I do know some of what you experienced and some of the feelings that came along with those experiences along the way. Um and that you were able to um really walk through that, you know? You didn't try to get over it. You didn't try to get around it. You didn't try to get beneath it. You walked through it and you used it, um like I say about using our feelings, right? I can fear and I can have doubt. I mean, that's a part of how your brain works. That's just a part of your physiology, okay? And I also can choose to use that fear and doubt um for my benefit, right? Not allow it to um not allow it to have me reacting to something. Like I like really slowing myself down and being able to see like you and True work together and level up mom and like every time, okay, there's Rochelle, Trang Pack, we know Michaela, of course, and she's one of the mods, by the way. And like we have so many different ones of you. CH was here or is here, and I I, I don't want to miss anybody because I'll be running my mouth and be to miss somebody. I don't mean to miss anyone. What I do know is that the brilliance that I see in so many hundreds of thousands of Black women and Black girls, and that we have been tapping that down to help other people feel good. Um, no, I, I, we have to have our own financial freedom, right? We're gonna have to get with our own healthcare. We used to have to do that anyway, and we're gonna have to get with educating our children ourselves because I don't know how many times the greater society and the patriarch or whatever can tell you that um there you don't get your kids don't get to know about your history. Okay. Um and they're not gonna teach you about finances because at the at the end of the day, even though you have the education that they required and all of this other stuff, you get paid less for doing the work of other people and creating ideas like Miss D did, you know? So, one of the things I've taught my daughter is yes, of course, I want you to get whatever degree. Now, she's decided to do her bachelor's in psychology because it affect if you get a foundation in psychology, oh, and you working with people, girl, please do it. Because you learn
Yeah,
about yourself and you learn about other people, no matter what kind of work you guys do.
and it's great for markets.
And it's
It's
great for
great for
marketing.
markets. Yeah.
So if you but you take the instead of taking that information and spending the next 20, 25, 30, 40 years in corporate, you take that information and you build your own business and you like I am an RN, but you have to pay a lot of money for me to be talking to you. Okay? Or getting with you or sharing any of my um knowledge over the from this past 35 years of being a registered nurse. I I put I tear a paper on purpose, bring a white envelope, and whatever they say, I don't know what they saying or what they think they about to offer me, but I just put the thing in the envelope while they talking and slide it across the table. This is my walkout price.
Yeah.
Okay? Girl,
If you
and I'm
need
not
it, pay for it.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying to us as Black women, right? You see how powerful that is, you guys? And I'm telling you, Miss D is giving you something that gives you an option that will make it so you can make those kind of decisions in your own life that
It gives you
somebody else,
leeway.
mhm, somebody else can't tell you what your value is. Right?
I just
That's why it's important what Miss D has done. And if we're saying to older women, not Miss D, but Miss D is of course a wizened woman. She is beyond her years, no matter what her years are. But if you're saying to older um Black women or the ones older than me or whatever, that we need to give you better information, that we need to be more responsible and accountable. Well, here we are being responsible and accountable for sharing information that you should have, right? We believe that.
Let me just add with this, and then I'm going to have to begin to say my farewells because, in addition to launching this book and this newsletter, Aunt Flo, on her eternal visit to us of womankind so that we may bring the next generation of the world, has also decided to make her visit. And she's like, Sister Girl, I know what you're trying to do. Do you know what I'm trying to do? But let me share this thought before I go because it's important. So I mentioned to you I don't have a Lamborghini in the I don't have a Lamborghini in the driveway. But I funded this book partially on what I made in the last bull run. I'm not completely delivered from working yet. I got stuff I still got to do. I have enough community responsibility that does not pay me, actually, which means I have to really hustle some things up. But how am I able to do this and level up single mom and confidence with love? Confidence with love gives us the appropriately priced products so I can be out here glowing and have time to do that. Why? Because of the things from the last bull run. Why y'all think I come talk to you at 219? I'm grown black folks talking to you to get your life together because I'm getting my life together. How can I be, down 30 pounds in 2 years? Because having that crypto money meant I had time to go take care of me a little bit more. And then, of course, I had money to invest in the becoming a self-confident woman. Look, although she gave that free to certain ones of us access, if you need to go invest in it, you have to go invest in it. She's got this interracial marriage course. And so I want to tell you that you warned me about using your products and people trying to get up in your lap. It finally happened yesterday. I'm like, do y'all know the COVID is still going on? So now I know I'm gonna have to then be able to invest, but then we gotta have a paperback cover. So I gotta continue to invest in True Mystique. We gotta have promotional coming up for Black Friday. A sister vetted a brother who's been doing this, who has Amazon Live. Oh, speaking of lives, True Mystique and I are gonna go live and talk about the whole dovetailing of this process because me putting that book together dovetailed with her deciding to go ahead and do all this amazing stuff that she does. So that's coming up Pacific time, 2 o'clock, Eastern time, 5 o'clock on True Mystique's channel. I need to just drop that out there for y'all.
What day? Because I saw the 7th.
That's Tuesday. I
That's the
believe that is the
7th.
7th.
True. Yeah.
Tuesday the 7th. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I saw it. I'm like I just need to hear the two of you together. Well, True Mystique is going to come on here and she's going to
Yeah, we're hopefully
be a
late November, early
feature.
December. Yes.
Yeah.
So
And I want us to start doing this where we're bringing on people, Black women and Black girls to be a feature, you know? Um and yes, it's around the world, girl. I done see Mystique post, girl. It's all kinds of people posting season the bull run. So I'm
I
telling you right
know
now.
it's crazy. It was on 4 continents. The advanced reader copy made it to 4 continents.
Mhm.
Then I looked at your TikTok and I'm like, I'm not even on TikTok. This is craziness. But again,
Girl,
this
that was
is
this morning or something, last afternoon, not night or something.
I'm like, True Mystique's cover was just like, what is this? It's the most amazing thing. I mean, the way that
Girl.
that whole thing came together. But here's the deal. As I was saying before, I partially funded it by using what I had for the last bull run. Because if I didn't have that back there, it would have been much harder for me to do it on time and be able to pay people on time. One of the things I try not to do with anyone, but especially fellow Black women, we do need to be paid. And
Mhm.
because of the way I am, I'm willing to give a lot of things way up front. See, what you don't know is conversation for another day. Something called loss leaders. You have loss leaders and you have upsells. The newsletter is an upsell. For anybody who gets the book, it'll always be there at the introductory price at $20 a month. That's path one. Other people are going to find this when this is at path two, when Bitcoin is maybe up around 45, 50, 60, 70, $80,000 trying to jump in. It's going to cost a little bit more then. But for those who get the book, you always get path one. But there's something called a loss leader. And a loss leader is you already know it's going to take you a little while to do your investment. From a profit and loss perspective, this is not necessarily what you do if you want to make money, but in the long run, a story from the gold rush. I live in San Francisco, California. The richest man in the gold rush was not the person who sold the gold. the richest man in the gold rush was the man who sold buckets and shovels.
Yeah.
That's it. Y'all think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all think about that to the next more aunties.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all think about that for just a second, and then think to yourself, wait, Miss D gave us this book, but at the same time, how many people are gonna need this book, even at $4.99, and the crypto bull run starts in April? So she gave us a head start, but we're helping to get her this around the world. So then when people become desperate after April, May, June, July, who already has their book out there?
You know
They,
what? One of the things while I'm thinking about this that I want to encourage with everybody buying this book is that you include Black girls in this because
yeah,
they actually have the technology. Okay,
yep,
so if you're gonna use, like, say you taught me, one of the things I could use was Kraken, and when you guys read the
right.
book, you will understand what I'm talking about. Yes, I'm using the lingo. Uh-huh. So, um, I really encourage all of you. I don't care if it's a niece, a goddess daughter, a granddaughter, a daughter. I don't care. Your
Your Sunday
cousin,
school
your sister.
students,
Yeah, your Sunday school students. One of the best things I learned was with working with teenagers with my self confidence course because I've done it in different types of settings before. Um, you know, you testing. Okay. Um, but I encourage you to get a younger, member of your family. I'm specifically saying Black girls, but of course, Black boys too. Okay. Get them and you guys work through this book like it's a workbook together, and then you allow them, because my daughter and my son in their respective ages had their own bank accounts by the time that it was legal for them to 12 or 13, because I knew that I had to teach them over those years
yep,
how to bank. Because
yep,
just because you know how to spell the word bank doesn't mean you know how to use it and not incur fees and all of these different things. So, and at different points as they were growing up, they worked for me. So I paid them a salary. You see what I'm saying to y'all? Okay. So all you want your clothes, you want your this. Well, the limit back then was like you could pay your kids $6,000 a year. If you put that $6,000 over a year to that kid, it's a whole different tax thing. So there's things that go into working with your children because they be knowing all the tech. Work with them on their talents. Build that. This is a great opportunity for that. For you to take season the bull run for financial freedom to your children. Because, girl, these 2 years olds out here doing this with the iPads and the iPhones. And I don't want to mention y'all weird Samsungs and stuff. I'm an Apple user, but that's beside the point. Um, please make this a part of your children's daily time spent with you. Ooh, let's get the crypto book. Yeah, mom. Okay, yeah. And then, oh, did you get that app on there so we could make our investment? Yeah, mom. I put this here and I put that there. Girl, you better get with them cheering. They know how to use. We have a different understanding and different things like that. So do they.
hmm and it'll be
So
easier for them to a point. It's
yes,
easier once you guide them the right way. You can buy Pip going on Cash App.
that's right. So if you will do this with your children, I beg of you to please do so. My daughter actually works. She quiet as a cat. No, we didn't say this out loud. She not work. She's actually co-owner of my business now because I put her
Oh,
there. Huh?
but we
And
didn't hear that. We did
no, because I ain't telling her business or nothing. But but she makes money from our business. She makes money. Okay. Okay, not to mention she got 52 other jobs or whatever because she believe in multiple incomes, honey. But she makes money, and a lot of what she does, her part in our company has to do with operations. All right. So you can do this with your children, you know, and it makes them feel so good, and it lets them see that they have powers and abilities, and no matter what's coming at them in the world, you're already working with them spiritually. 85% of us are Christians, not me, but every 85% of other black women and girls is
Hey,
Christian. Yes. You know, please take the time to do this, and bring your child into it. Bring your niece, nephew, whoever. I don't Please do that, because that puts them at a whole different level, even for high school and middle school and all these things. If you got 4 years old or older, girl, you better get them that iPad, and you better open that book. They love a bedtime story at that time. You should be reading season the crypto bull run
see,
to them.
you
That's
see
what
why
they
I keep stuff family friendly? So
I'm
you
just
can read it as
yeah,
bedtime. You just read the glossary. Once
yes.
upon a time, there was a crypto there, or read the story of Bitcoin, because that is sort of what I had in mind. Actually, in my head, I was going once upon a time. Let me also say this: when you talk about teaching your children, black boys and black girls, but let's start with black girls for a minute, because we know what black girls are going through. Right now, there are women my age, approximately. Ebony K. Williams, a little bit younger than me. Yeah, I said a name. Because I mentioned on channel. We went hard for her. And then she comes out letting us know that they need to get their Mrs. degrees and focus on that. Well, what is the pressure to do that? Because everybody assumes that black girls are going to be socialized not to have the option of becoming someone, and then who has, well, if you have a job and you get very masculine, investing passive income is the most feminine thing you can do by that standard. You sit and money comes to your bank account and you live your best life. So I am in the process of refusing to engage in useless arguments. There's always going to be stuff I'm going to have to address on grown black folks talk, because we just need to address it. But what I'm saying to us is, at a certain point, a lot of problems that black women and black girls have, and a lot of the reasons that black boys are suckered into a culture that is death dealing, death glorifying, demeaning, is because they believe that's the only way they're going to get the money, power, respect they need to feel respected in a society that disrespects black men also. So you can assist your children in being kept out of both of those toxic mindsets, and then forwarding this. Now, is my book going to do all that for you? No, it's going to do for you what you choose to do for yourself.
Yeah.
I only have so much power. Um, I was the conduit through which you received the book. Now, what you do, I mean, in my channel, we talk about common grace versus special grace. What you do with the book under common grace, no matter what your creed happens to be, is up to you. If you were a Christian reading this, know that a Christian woman was able to create it for you, but I still can't learn you. You still got to go to the same God I went to and said, okay, Lord, the same thing had happened for me to write it. What would you have me to do? You still got to take this book and go, what would you have me to do? If you read your Bible real well, you know that a man saved his nation when he took the letter that was threatening him before the Lord and said, now I need you to deal with this. So what happens next and how deep you take it is up to you. But when you take it to your children, you give them an exit ramp from thinking that they have to be dependent on someone else. And like I said, stocks, bonds, real estate, learning how to assess an asset and how to look for good things in an asset. Technology stocks will continue to be a play across the industries. That's what's called Web 2.0. What we're talking about is Web 3.0. But Web 2.0 is still going to be investing, assessing teams and what the project does and how it develops. That's going to be in handy. Your children will be able, because their brains are still growing, to see connections in that I at 42 and Love at 56 can't see. Our brains are not at that stage. We're at the crystallizing intelligence stage. They're still at the, okay, so this connects with this, and this connects with this over here, and this connects with this over there. They're going to be in a position by the time they reach our age to do so much more.
Yes.
But that depends on, and let me also say this, a lot of things I've done in my life, I have been afraid, but I have a lot of Sunday school students. So I have gotten up in the morning and I have said to myself, if I don't get this, they don't have a chance. Because I have access, and many of the parents and grandparents don't, because I am an autodidact by thinking. So even though I'm afraid, Stephanie Perry often says her channel is a wonderful channel for those of you looking to move abroad and also to get more freedom in your life. Do it afraid.
Yes.
Don't do this to make me rich, because if I was interested in being made rich by this, I would charge you the value of it from the gate. If that happens as a consequence, that's be wonderful. That'll mean that I'll figure out my next book 4 years from now be about how to invest in whatever it is, because I'll be at that level to do whatever that is. That'll be fine. But do this. I will tell you what I think. I would love for you to get this book free, invest your time and your energy, and turn this into generational wealth for your family. And if one of you does it, I've succeeded. I would love you on Saturday to get $5 and do the same thing. I would love for you to take $12 to $15, paperback range, 10 to 15. I haven't decided yet. I got to do some work, and True Mystique is going to have to help me back on Chat GPT, and we're going to try to figure out how to price that out, what would work in the market as it is today. I would love for you to take $12 to $15 and create generational wealth for yourself and your family. I would love for you to sign up for the $20 a month newsletter that's mentioned in the book, where I go through the crypto news. But do you notice the price point's not important? Because what I want you to do is to be able to see what I see and to be able to do what I do. I don't have a Lamborghini, and I'm not super rich behind crypto. I didn't have enough money to invest like most of us didn't in 2020 to get there. Now, if I had been like black women making money, one of them and making one of them upperly mobile black women kind of salaries, y'all wouldn't see me anywhere around here. I'll blow on this taco stand. But that's why that wasn't the call of my life at that time for that. But the dollar amount doesn't make any difference. I want you to be able to look at the world and see the opportunity I see and take it. Seize it. Which is why the name of the book is Seizing the Crypto Bull Run for Financial Freedom.
Oh, yay! Yes.
I'll put that in the chat one more time for y'all, actually.
Yes. I loved this. I just loved this. Thank you so much, Misty. Thank you so much for the book, the concepts, making it so so like I'm telling you guys, if I can understand this, everybody can. That I'm telling you, 3-year-olds, you read them this to them as their bed story instead of, let's say, Snow White or something, um and they figure out that actually the bed stories I got read had to do with me being, financially free, the things I could do to do this. Kids will remember all that, girl.
They will.
They will do that. So I really want you to do that, and I really want you to know, Misty, how incredibly grateful I am to you, and how important and how much you matter to me, and you matter to this world. And I know that you are a servant transformational leader who is very humble. Um and I need you to really know that you are incredible,
Thank you.
and I
And
appreciate you.
I appreciate you in many ways. Um, Without getting into the stuff that has gone on in this past year, the fact that you consistently hold Black women sacred, protected, and uplifted. I am a Black woman who benefited from that. I am a graduate of your course and someone who is sitting up there like, yeah, since these people are trying to get into my lap, I better start figuring out what my crypto sales are going to be to buy myself this course that you have and invest in myself and invest in you for Christmas because this is getting just a little ridiculous. Some of these people are cutie pies, though. And I'm sitting up here like, yeah, but I got to be able to vet these folks because, Alexander the Great, at least if Richard Burton is a representative, didn't look that bad. But Alexander the Great terrorist, and I'm not trying to do this. Um, but thank you for providing resources that I needed. And the course, becoming a self confident woman, was very, very helpful. It helped me crystallize a lot of things that I needed to. And just um, being someone who, and I won't get into the detail, to turn around and realize, okay, your natural compassion has you in a situation that you're going to find it very hard to deal with. And you turned around because you didn't have to, and you came back and helped me get out of that. And I just want to say publicly, not that many people walk the talk. We will probably never believe the same thing on the spiritual level. But I get up in the morning and say, well, look, I have to keep my life as a representative of Christ together because I know a representative of Sekhmet. And even though we need not compete because people will be called, I can't let myself be a worse representation because Sekhmet has her representation and is doing a job. So I need to make sure to keep my life together. The Bible talks about iron does sharpen iron. So it, it be what it be. But I appreciate that you make space for us, Noir Aunties, to be safe here and that other people can call 9mm 380 or get it rhetorically. I remember when you told somebody, here's some crayons and a coloring book. I'm like, I thought I was a rough mod. I'm just like, did she really? Yes, she did. And I probably should just mention before going what you said about democratic communities. There is a comment on one of my videos from a long time ago, which was in the back of my mind when I'm like, well, let me pick True Mystique because we've been talking about intellectual property and the fact that after it comes out, we can't necessarily control all the ways it's licensed. But I remember that I said to you, when you put forward your vision about Black women controlling their own intellectual properties to create their own economy, you can't use it on what's already out because there's first use laws and things like that. But if we start from the beginning, and so here we are at the beginning, you
Yeah.
had an influence on how this was developed because of that. And I thank you for providing a safe space. It has been a fascinating journey, uh, but thank you. Thank you.
I think I think we just you know, y- it's like I've known you, and when I just from the beginning when I have seen you, I was just like, ooh, she doesn't even know how powerful her voice is, girl. Oh yeah, oh my, now look at that Black woman. And all I could think was like, ooh, I want her to do more though. I want her to do this though, because she got it all. She got it all, girl. She is so amazing. And that's what I was saying. Like, and just like her compassion, her voice is so powerful. The tonality, everything. She's creating right now as she's speaking. And yeah, that's really important to me. So again, I'm just laying around, hanging out. However, um,
And writing 7 books while you laying around and hanging
Yeah,
out.
this I'm just messing around. Y'all don't, but y'all don't, you can get to
Five
messing around.
courses,
Yeah.
7 books, but you make your laying around hanging out time work now. I got to give you that.
Yeah, I make it work for me. Yeah, uh-huh. But I definitely want this for all of you as well. And seizing the crypto bull run for financial freedom, it's a must. If I was telling you, you know, because I would tell anyone I love, which is y'all, please do this for yourself. Please,
Please,
please.
ain't too proud to beg.
Yeah,
Please,
really not.
because this is really okay. Aunt Flo is like, look, you about to make me manifest, but you, like I said, giving it away because
Mhm.
when by the time black women are in the news and on the television screen talking about Bitcoin in the summer of 2025, when a lot of us who are not informed will then get in, and I will be sensitive to how I say this, get in, and then what have happened to us, what's been happening to us since 1800, that's not what I want for you. So I have no problem just being like, please get this. Amazon will let me do another free giveaway period next year. True Mystique and I also talk about different platforms. We might take 3 months and then put it up over there and have another free launch in another place so that
Mhm.
people have a chance to get it. The way it falls out, having done it in October, every 3 months you can do another free promotion. I may just do that. I, I may just do that for y'all's New Year. Because I want you before April, May, and I want you to have an opportunity to share it with other people at an affordable price before April, May, because I don't want us to keep happening to us in finances what people have done to us everywhere else. Now, I don't know enough about stocks, bonds, and real estate to be able to do anything. I can't advise you financially in crypto, can't do it. But I can let you know if I went in and bumped my head and you don't have to bump your head, well, you'll make your own. But you don't have to constantly be out here like a rock concert up against a wall like I had to do. Please, not to make me rich. It's still free. I would be delighted if 18 million black women, for the sake of their 7 to 9 million black girls, all went and downloaded free. We have paid for everyone else. Everybody else can pay for it. Now, that's a lot of stuff
Mhm.
to have happen by Friday, but I'm just saying, I'm sure other pieces of other races and everybody's welcome. But please give yourself this opportunity, not to make me rich, to make you financially more prepared. Not to make me rich, because at $5 per, I will not recoup my investment in this for a while. And that's okay, because my real investment is in the future of my people. And as a Christian, that's everybody in the family plus a command to do good to all men. So that'll be 8 billion people in total. But I wasn't born a black woman by accident, and I used to be a little black girl. So
Mhm.
I want my natural folk to go get it. And for the men who will hear this, because you keep telling me how they need to come up, they keep coming up here saying stupid stuff. I'm just like, look, let me just say on true confidence with love request, drop them tithes, bend the knee, and be quiet on her
Mhm.
behalf. On my
Me
behalf,
too.
when you finish dropping the tithe, the book is still free till Friday night. So you can come drop a tithe, bend the knee, and be quiet, because she's gonna tell you to do that, and then give you some coloring books. Because I've seen it with my own. I've seen these comments.
Mhm.
But this is still free till Friday night. So you can go ahead and do all that and still get the book. So that when you come back to drop the tithe, you can drop a little bit more next time. I'm just saying. I'm just, because she gracious hostess, but she sends us black women and girls. I'm just saying, in a semi-humorous way, for black boys in particular, you don't have to get sucked into toxicity. There are ways to get things you need without you having to sell your soul to the chattel makers, essentially.
Yep.
Please, not for my sake, your own. This book was given to me for you, so that you can be where I am in this very minor way. I can't, but like I said, I can't get you a seat at the welcome table in heaven, and I cannot buy your crypto for you. I can't even tell you. I can tell you about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Hive because they're likely to be here. But I can't. Beyond that, I could not even bring myself to tell you what else to invest in. I can't even share my own investment portfolio because some of you are not ready for some of the things I'm able to do in there. But you'll find your way, and you have time if you get started.
Yes.
That's the idea.
Yes. Well, I think that I know for me, this has been fabulous.
It was.
Um, Thank you so much for doing this. Not,
You're welcome.
yeah, I just really appreciate you so much. And um to everybody out there listening to us, buy the book, buy the book, buy the book. It
Please.
Yes, it will give you um another option, right? Towards your financial freedom and that of the your family and the people that you know and love. So please share it, and please read it and make it a thing you do, like at a book club or with kids, or you know what I'm saying? Let's make this um a part of our tradition, right?
Yeah, instead of worrying about the election every 4 years.
Hmm. Let's make this the part of our tradition.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
also something you can do every 4 years.
Hmm. Hmm. I love you, Miss D. Thank you so much again. And thank you, everyone. I love y'all. I'm so glad y'all came.
Thank you for
Um,
coming.
yes, and you supported us today. Um, just I'm so excited for all of you for what Miss D has done. I'm just so excited. So let's get it popping, girl. Let's get that financial freedom. Woo! Girl, don't tell me to go get some money. I'm a go.
Look,
Okay. Whatever.
I'm telling
I'm
y'all,
I'm in.
go get it.
I'm in. I'm getting the co-CEO, the co bring her. Yeah. 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 She's going to do the actual investing.
Okay,
Yeah.
lovely. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah. So we have some other investments. But generally these types of things she's just mathematically inclined. And um so I'm excited for all of you to be able to see how this looks for your children. Believe me, it's kind of like vegetables at first to be like, oh, I don't want to. But anyway, we're gonna do it though. We're gonna read season the crypto bull run. Yay, aren't you excited? We're gonna read this story to you. Yes. Next thing they'll know, they'll be over there talking to the next 5-year-old. So how is your Bitcoin going? Okay. They're gonna be speaking all the lingo. You're gonna get calls from school. He asked for a proof of work. She said, um, so what, do you even understand uh the different parts of crypto? So which ones are you invested in? Well, did you move it over to your wallet? Can't you see a 7-year-old black girl?
I, I tell you what y'all do though. When that does happen, what you do is you get the paperback at the introductory price, right?
Mhm,
You keep them on hand. When the bull run starts, you sell them for twice as much. Now, of course, they can come by from me at twice as much, but I'm just telling y'all when kids start talking to other people's kids, because certain other races of people, when they hear running, they come running. You just have your little book there and you do your little resale. That for
mhm,
free, y'all. That if you
mhm,
don't make any other money during the crypto bull run, because the day's gonna come round about December of next year
mhm.
that everybody and their mother's gonna be trying to get up in here for that for the next 7 to 8 months. So that's for free, y'all. Okay, Aunt Flo is like, if you do not leave immediately, But I have enjoyed this conversation,
So have
and I
I.
want to thank you again.
Thank you, my dear. All right, everyone. Have a good afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are. Love you guys. Thank you for being here. Um, just just have a great one. You're so
Have a great day,
deserving.
and thank you
Yeah.
for being